it's too incendiary, it's too politically difficult, etc. I think we need to reform our immigration system, and we should be able to find a way that secures our borders and provides people who are already here a pathway so that they are out of the shadows, they pay a fine, they're learning English, they're getting assimilated, you know, but they're not living in fear. We should be able to do that. And you know, we had 11 Republican senators who voted for it, including John McCain was a co-sponsor of the bill. We should be able to get that done again, because everybody agrees that the system we've got right now is broken. And one last thing I wanted to mention is actually education. The reason I didn't mention it up front is this has been one of the few areas where I've actually gotten some compliments from Republicans. I think the strategy that we have right now, which is to maintain high standards, work with states in a smart way to develop curriculums, teacher training strategies, to boost our higher education, institutions of higher education. That's an area where we should all agree, because it's indisputable that if we are working smarter, if our kids are better trained, then we will succeed. And if they're not, it doesn't really matter what else we do. Over time, we're going to decline. So, all right, I've got time for one more question. I'm going to call on this young lady right here.
I'm really nervous. Thank you, Mr. President, for being here. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people sending you a lot of good energy. One being my 82-year-old aunt. She wanted me to make sure I told her.
Tell her I said hi.
Okay. I'm a massage therapist. And
I've got a crick in my neck right here.
I bet you do.
A lot of tension's been building up.
Do you get regular massage?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
One prevailing theme that comes here in my practice is fear. Mm-hmm. And on an energetic level, what I would like to see you institute or get started, bipartisan, is to alleviate people's fears of spending $5. I know this is like, it sounds so basic, but if we go out there and spend a little bit, it's going to come back around. It works. I mean, you've got a program here where you've got you're giving a tax break to those companies that hire the returning vets.
Right.
You got a $2,400 tax break.
Right.
Well, who are those companies? I would patronize a company that's making the effort of going out and hiring these people. I mean, you've got to spend it to get it back.
Well,
and there's just this prevailing fear all the time, and it comes down to $5, $10, whatever. You got to put it out there, and it'll start the momentum going.
Right.
Also be some good news.
Well, look, I think you are absolutely right that some of this is psychology. Look, the country went through a huge trauma. You know, the body politic is like an individual in the sense that if they go through a really bad accident and you're in a cast and got a little whiplashed and bruised and battered, it takes some time to recover, and that's what happened to our economy. We went through a really bad accident. It was a preventable. It was a preventable one, by the way. If we had had some more rules of the road in place, if we had had better economic policies, we could have prevented it. But it is what it is. We went through this. You're absolutely right, though, that now part of what's holding us back is us needing to go ahead and feel confident about the future. Now, that's not the only thing holding us back. Let's be realistic. Part of the reason people aren't spending is they had maxed out on their credit cards, and people quite sensibly said to themselves, you know what? This is probably a good time for us to reflect on the fact that we were buying a bunch of stuff that maybe we should get in the future, but we weren't quite there yet, and we should run down our debts. You know, and people have done that. People have been paying down their debts a lot more over the last year than they had in the previous 5 or 10 years. A lot of people were borrowing against their homes, home equity loans. One of the things that Michelle and I always laugh about is, you know, when people talk about us, I think they forget that we were basically living the same lives as John and Nicole. Just it wasn't that long ago. It was like 6, 7 years ago. I still remember the first time I refinanced we had a condo, and we'd gotten initially we'd gotten higher rates, and then, because we bought it in 1993, and sometime around 97 or 98, I don't remember exactly when, the rates had gone down like a couple of %, and we said, well, it makes sense for us to go to refinance. And I still remember talking to the bank, and they said, you know, you can refinance and you can take some money out. And I said, well, what does that mean? They said, well, you know, your condo has appreciated so much that you can take, it's like found money. And I remember thinking at the time, well, you know, that doesn't sound right. But that was, you know, everybody, I think, was so certain that homes were appreciating, and they would always appreciate, and so it just made everybody feel a lot richer. Now, homes suddenly start dropping in value. You don't have that kind of equity, and so people feel a little bit less wealthy. 401ks still haven't fully recovered. The 529s, the college portfolios that people put together, they still haven't fully recovered. So there are legitimate and real reasons why people have pulled back a little bit. But having said all that, I want to end on the point that you're making, which is that we have averted the worst. The economy is now growing. There are enormous opportunities out there. There are people who are inventing stuff that will be the new products of the future all across this country. There are young people who, when I meet them, they are talented and they're energetic and they feel confident about America. If you've traveled overseas, as tough as this recession's been for us, the truth of the matter is that most countries still envy the United States. And there are billions of people around the world who would die to be here and have that opportunity to prosper and be part of this great middle class of ours. And so my hope is, and this goes to the question of the previous gentleman, what can Republicans and Democrats do together after this election is stop spending so much time attacking the other side and spend a little more time focusing on what's good and what's right about America and what opportunities we have. And if we do that, then I'm absolutely confident that we're going to move forward for a long time to come. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you.